From Trimble Construction, you're listening to the Connected Construction Show, where we connect you to the contractors, owners, designers, engineers, and construction professionals who are finding better ways to work. And now, here's your host, Matt Sprague.
Hello and welcome to the Connected Construction Show. I am your host, Matt Sprague. We are here at Dimensions 2022 in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Venetian Resort and Casino. I am joined today with my guests, Tom Yeshurun from CIV Robotics. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Pleasure.
Tom, tell us a little bit more about yourself other than your name. You can say your name again. But tell us, who you're with, what you do there, and more importantly, what I'd love to know is how you got there. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Happy to share. So my name is Tom Yeshurun. I'm the CEO and co-founder of CIV Robotics, which is a construction tech startup here in the U.S., based in San Francisco. I'm originally from Israel, and that's where we started the company. That's where I actually worked in construction before starting this venture. We are very fortunate to be working here with the customers around the U.S. And based on our experience in construction, we started this venture. So I was a civil engineer, a site engineer on road construction projects, and I was working with a lot of subcontractors. One of them was a surveyor, and I was shocked how they were performing the layout, and I was amazed how great, the product that we had from the drone coming out that they use. I'm like, wait, you can use the drone to do mapping, but you still do the layout manually. Let's automate that as well.
Yep.
And that's how CIV Robotics came to life.
So I think you had mentioned to me earlier that it was, in your experience of actually working in the field, it was like identifying the inefficiencies, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just the drones do this, we should do it that way. There's a major time suck that you're trying to solve here, right?
There's a time suck. There's also quality. We live in a world that we are human after all. We make mistakes. Most of the time, it's the communication. Did you clarify what you want to lay out? If you want to lay out the curve, you want to do the front or the back. That's 4 inches. That's massive in our industry.
Yep. And
we can't have them. We can't build that way if you don't clear about it. And with automation, you don't have that problem. The robot will do what it's told to do, and it'll do it precisely as required. And it's all controlled by us, surveying professionals and construction professionals in the field that know what they need.
That's excellent. So, robotics, the term, sometimes has a negative connotation, or some people say.
Correct.
Why?
Look,
why do you think?
I think that a lot of people are afraid of the term and afraid of the consequences, but in the end of the day, we live in an era. What is robotics? Is your refrigerator a robot? A lot of people have a microwave as a robot. So we look at robotics as a robotics. I look at it, there's a lot of things here that we're still unknown, and we're not afraid of our refrigerator, but they are becoming smarter and smarter with IoTs and all that stuff.
Yep.
So, but we're not afraid of it. You're afraid of something that's in front of you, and you see it performing a task that used to be done by a human or by humans, and now that's people are afraid of that taking their job. But we live in a world that we have such a huge shortage of labor, and we're trying to just empower the workforce to be more efficient and to do more work in the field. Jobs are becoming bigger, and we need to be able to accommodate that. And that the workforce that we have today does not do that, and it's okay. We're here to it's not fun to do this work.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that our customers like about us is that we're taking a very repetitive task, annoying task, and make the users enjoy it and love it, and they can't go back after using us. So it has that negative connotation, but many of our customers get out of that after using our machine. But it is what it is, and we can't change it all. And I think that we had the same, very similar problem with drones in the beginning, and people were cautious about it.
Yep.
For many reasons, and we see that barrier is no longer existing. It's becoming a standard in our industry. Machine control is it's a robot.
Yeah.
So and it's also becoming a standard in our industry. If you don't adapt, you don't evolve, you don't grow with the industry, you'll stay behind. Then you will be unemployed, and that's not our fault.
That's correct. Evolution is, well, whether we're talking biologically or technologically, it's a natural progress, right? But even more, you mentioned labor shortages, but it's also, and you alluded to the fact that projects are getting bigger, or there's more projects. I mean, with the infrastructure spending in the United States, but the infrastructure spending across the rest of the world is the same. The same way. There's aging infrastructure, so there's a lot of things happening, and organizations are having to figure out ways of, if not doing more with the same, doing more with less. Correct. And that's essentially what the automated systems or the unmanned systems that you're talking about are able to help, right? Yeah,
totally. I think that we live in an industry that also needs to attract young professionals to come and work in the field, and I think that technology adoption it will definitely help bring more young professionals to work in this field. We're competing against. The dirt world is not as exciting as coding necessarily.
Yep.
So and trying to find people to do this line of work is a lot more exciting when it has some automation, some machinery versus it's all good. You can take a pull in a rod and go lay out the points, do it over and over, or just follow the robot or the system, our product, and just oversee it, do the work, perform it.
Yeah.
And it's a no-brainer after you get using it.
But it's also the proficiency of it as well, right? Because there's again, with the same increase in infrastructure spending that's coming from the public, there's greater criticism on making sure that the money being spent on jobs is spent correctly. And I had a guest recently that was utilizing compaction machines and robotics compaction machines and whatnot, and they were talking about the overlap of compaction, that studies were shown that when there was a manned compaction project, the overlap on runs were could be as large as 50% overlap.
Damn.
And so I can't remember what it was, but when you're utilizing the machine control, it's a lot less.
Yeah,
put it that
probably
way.
Single digits.
Yeah, absolutely. So same thing in terms of so talk to us about the automated systems that you're providing.
That's great. So I'll talk about what we provide and also about the infrastructure bill, which you mentioned as well. That pain of shortage of labor is actually greater in a remote job site, which is a lot of infrastructure. If it's solar and roads in the middle of nowhere, finding people to do work 2 hours away west from Midland. Good luck.
Yep.
So our product is very straightforward. It's a ground platform that has a robotic arm, and it has uses GNSS technology on a machine that guides it where to drive and also where to mark. So we use trimble technology on our machines as well. And as the robot stops within a certain proximity, our robotic arm moves and marks that coordinates. Not only that, we also provide that information. If it's cut and fill or annotation that the customer may have, we can see that on our tablet. But also, there's a speaker on the machine that actually guides the person following it and say, let's say you do a center line and then do the left line. So annotation, the robot will say center line. And the person who will follow just do a CL next to it.
Yeah. And
that's it. And the robot will continue going and go to lay out the entire center line for them. So really making it, seamless and it's clear to avoid, you want to do center line there, not left line.
Yeah.
So providing that information as clear as possible so anyone can use the machine and benefit from it.
Yeah. So envision that something like that could help extend somebody's career.
Oh, definitely.
Well. Someone who's been in hard labor for their entire lives, at some point things give up, right? And I don't mean the person's spirit, I mean their person's physical body.
Yeah.
And now you're getting into situations where you can get automated systems to start helping doing it, but you still need a human to be involved.
So, funny story that you say that. We had a customer, and the operator's been doing layout for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And, we try to please everybody in the chain, from the PM to the site engineer, all the way down to the operator. And in the end, that project, it was a solar farm out in Texas. He used to lay out, I would say 300 points a day with a rod and walking and bending his back and putting flags on the ground. And with us, he was carrying a tablet on a strap in his shoulder, walking with no hands free. And we gave him a device that just installed the flags without bending his back at all.
Yeah.
And he's like, he can't go back. There's no way going back from that. And he actually, in the end, that job, did about 100,000 points. We got a nice warm text from him, not even email, saying thank you.
That's
awesome. It's been great. They actually moved him to another job using us on another job site out in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And it's really great to see how, he was in his 50s, and he was ready to go get out of there, be done with it.
Yeah.
And now he's, loving it and excited about it. Lost some weight because he's just following the robot all day long.
Yeah.
So his wife is also happy, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, excuse me. I lost what I was going to say here for a second. The labor shortage, it's not just about there being more work to do. There's also an aging labor force. So in this scenario, we said, hey, it could help extend. But then there's also the fact that, you can only work until you're so old. But I look at, and I think someone told me so. These numbers might be a little bit off, but I think it was California Department of Transportation. So they have their own surveyors and their own construction inspectors. And I think this is something along the lines of 800 surveyors for the state of California and like 13,000 construction inspectors. Average age is 60 years old.
I'm not surprised.
So the need is coming for automation to hit all facets of the construction phase.
Definitely, the professionals who are leaving our industry, retiring, is one side of the spectrum. There's also the one coming in, and that's what I said earlier. Trying to bring more people in, and I think technology is one of the things that will encourage more people to join our industry and be part of this great industry, which is. I'm very fortunate to be here in this time and bring that technology to the field. I think that's a great thing to do, and of course, automation, if it's inspection or if it's layout or machine control or whatever that may be, it will help to mitigate that and to reduce that pain that we're suffering in. And to be honest, that's the main problem, the main cause for delays. We all hate the delays.
Yep.
We all hate when the road closure was supposed to be done at 6 and it ended up at 7, and then we're all stuck in traffic for another hour. That should not happen.
Yep.
And, hopefully we'll no longer have that as we improve our processes and encourage using technology to solve that.
Yeah. So have you already identified other areas of inefficiencies? That you're allowed to talk about, because I don't want you to give away any of your new future products.
Look, we are very, very much invested in the heavy civil and solar industry, and also now in the road coming up with a new product in the road, which I'm fortunate that we can talk about already.
Okay.
So we have a road marking system that's coming out. It'll be very exciting to be able to even draw things in the ground.
Okay.
And moving forward, in the end of the day, surveying as a whole has two main tasks during construction. Layout, where to build, and measure what was built.
Yep.
Right now, we're focusing on the first part of the layout. I'm sure at some point we're gonna also evolve and also provide that measurements.
Yep.
We do topos, but that's not it. If you need to scan your job site, you want to do a QA for 5%. That's part of the inspector you're talking about.
Yep.
Try to provide that information with AI maybe, or just bring it back to the field and from the field to the people in the office who actually can do that analysis and to provide that inspection.
So you gave the example of the gentleman who was ready to hang up his boots as a really neat case study. But are there other examples of organizations you're working with that are implementing these on like interesting projects where they've made a difference?
Definitely, we had a customer at first who used to have, I think it was like 18 people in the field doing layout. 18 people in the field doing layout. It was about 9,000 acres of land on a solar farm as well. And they were very frustrated because, 18 people, if 2 or 3 people don't show up one day, they're sick. There's COVID. This is actually during COVID.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was rough. And they also had to split them to working, solo because COVID happened.
Yep.
And then they embraced our system. At first, they were doing, two-man crew. 2-person crew. We also have a lot of female operators using our system as well.
Yep.
And they brought it down from 18 to 4 to 2.
Wow.
And those people were definitely not laid off. They were just shifted to do other tasks in the field, and it's great. And it was so much faster that at some point they even moved that system to another job site because they were ahead.
Yeah.
Solar is very linear, so where the layout was ahead of the shakeout and of the piling, and they were able to, at first they had 18 people, and it had to be 2. Numbers are really easy to contemplate. You don't even need to reconsider what to do there.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like I remember when I first got into the construction technology space, and a lot of friends and family that are contractors or in the construction space, and every once in a while I get the you're just taking away jobs, and it's you just kind of nailed it, right? You're reducing what you need to do a singular task, which then speeds up the project.
Correct.
Which then equates to the contractor gets finished a project quickly, which means they can do more projects.
Yeah.
And there's more work to do because there's always backlog. They have a backlog of stuff that they can't get to. Now they're able to have 2 crews that are out working at 2 projects at a time and whatnot. So it's not. I can never remember if the terminology is nearsighted or farsighted. When you can't see far, right, whatever one that is, it's the opposite, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm nearsighted. You should know this. My wife's an optometrist. She's going to yell at me after listening to this one. But so it's nearsighted that you can't see that the accumulation of all the efficiencies that we're working on is going to be good for the job market in general.
Definitely. I think the other thing to add up to that is the quality. Mm-hmm. The robotic arm is going to be as precise as you tell it to be.
Yep. And
the information that we provide today, for the ground elevation, has not been provided before. And by doing so, we're actually able to eliminate reworks of piles or foundations that need to be adjusted. If you were going to plan on installing a 12-foot long pile there, but the ground is higher, I mean, you need to put 12, maybe you need to put 11 foot long. It could be also the other way around. And knowing that is earlier is better versus, pounding the pile in and then have to take it out or retrofit it.
Yep.
That's just annoying. And it's reducing waste, time, and headaches that we can avoid. And about 2% of the piles in the ground were shifted because of us.
Yeah.
And that's a huge benefit.
Yeah. So the major sustainability ramifications here.
Yeah. We're shifting towards, being more efficient with our consumption of materials, and data is required to do that. So if you don't have the right data, you might be throwing in, say, another foot of steel, multiply that by hundreds of these piles.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And the right pile needs to go to the right place, and that's why we have our machines.
Yep. Have another story share of a customer?
Oh, yeah. I have so many, but let me share you another one. We love solar, we love roads, but this is another one in the pipeline industry, in wick drains. We have customers using us to lay out those points. Wick drains, basically, geotechnical, improving the earth to be more stable and safer for the structure that's going to go above it. And they had 300,000 coordinates that need to be laid out, 5x5 grid, and they need to be done fast.
Yeah.
We're doing 2,500 points a day with one person changing the spray paint every 400 points.
Yeah.
300,000 points.
Wow.
In a 6-month period. And they thought it was like, it's not going to be possible.
Yeah.
Or they're going to have a lot of people just walking there and doing it.
Yeah.
And with our machine, it's just one person in the truck looking at the machine, doing its thing.
Yeah.
It's great to see how, that same customer moved, before I was using us as solar, now applying that technology at different job sites.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate to see that and growing those relationships. Last year we had less than 10, now we're looking over 30. And it's growing, and thanks to also Trimble Ventures to be part of this our company now.
Yep.
We see more and more adoption for the Trimble family, and it's really great to see that.
Yeah, and I feel like there's commonality across all construction all technology, that in general, when something new comes along, it's always the early adopters.
Correct.
And I feel like we need to I'm urging all the listeners out there to become part of the category of early adopters, because they'll not only will it'll help business, but that's not really the point. The point is that the early adopters are the ones that all of a sudden figure out the new ways of using it. Like,
true.
we can't think of everything, but they're like, wow, what if we had this device, but it was rigged to help us with XYZ, whatever it might be. It's people getting involved, people that are collaborating and becoming those early adopters and become collaborators with the vendors.
Yeah.
Is what will drive connected construction moving forward.
In the end of the day, what I know is limited, and the field, their customers know a lot more, and I value their opinion, and we build our product based on that.
Yep.
Every feature, every button that we have was changed. For example, when joystick used to be in the left side, moved to the right side because the customer said, "Yeah, hold the tablet this way. I want it to be here.
Yeah.
Make the fonts bigger. Oh, can you also tell us the colors?" Like, yeah, we put it in the tablet at the bottom. Like, I was like, "Can we just put a speaker and tell it to you?" I'm like, "Oh, that would be amazing."
Yeah.
And now they're not even putting a tablet; they literally put it on the side, and they also have like a joystick now. Like, all these features that we've done, based on our customer feedback, help us shape our product and give them access and to be part of that process. And now it's basically built for them.
Yeah.
And I'm a lot more happy
Yep.
to provide them more features tailored for them versus someone later that will come into the play. I always like to listen and we'll decide what to do. But of course, the early adopters have a lot bigger role in shaping out the product.
So I probably should have asked this question at the beginning. So you have, what was, you said did you say what you studied?
Yeah, I studied civil engineering.
Civil engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go and work in the field, you have an idea. So now I'm more talking in terms of like entrepreneurial stuff. So how did you find someone who could help you build this thing, or did you build it?
So I was very lucky that, fortunately, I was getting my MBA as well during this time, and I knew a lot of people went from back to school that were mechanical engineering. I actually started mechanical and switched to civil. So I knew a bunch of people in the mechanical world, and they asked me if this is possible. I'm like, yeah, easy peasy. So I'm like, okay, do you want to become a co-founder? It's like, no, I just do freelance work. I'm like, cool. How much do you want for this, for the prototype? It's like, I don't know, $12,000 for something like super like prototyping, just to show an idea that this is possible. So we can raise capital and actually start working on it.
Yeah.
Within a month and a half, I had a prototype. 2 months later, I had capital, and then it became the VP R&D.
That's awesome.
So, I took a risk of doing something different, and I found, back in the day, the largest contractor in our area. I'm from Israel.
Yep.
Backed us up,
Yep.
and our university backed us up, and we started the company, and here we are a few years later, working with some of the largest contractors in the world, with leading, Trimble, leading and surveying equipment manufacturer here in the U.S.
Yep.
And it's very great to see how an idea became reality, and customers are using us today. Actually, one of our customers today took the machine from the expo to a job site and is using it. So we were one machine less here today.
Like, I need it now.
I need it now.
That's awesome.
Like we thought we didn't need it tomorrow, but then, like he said, he's going to do it tomorrow. But then, no, I want it today because there's people here from at Dimensions and want else to see it, I'm like, okay, just take it.
Just take it. That's awesome. That's great. All right, so we are actually at our final question. I ask every single one of our guests this question: what is your motto, or what is a motto that you know of that it has a good lesson to live by?
That's a great question. I'll start with a personal one that I cherish and follow: happy wife, happy life.
There you go.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes for us.
Yeah,
but it's all about compromise and making the family happy.
Yeah,
and I'll say from the business side, especially in the surveying world, precision is above all. So I tell my team, if you're not helping with precision, I could care less right now.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, this thing that's important, but if you can help precision more,
yep,
I want that.
Yep.
No matter the price tag, I want that, because the more precise the layout will be when the surveying is done, the more room for people to make errors or for construction to do, to ensure that we are building our infrastructure better and our buildings better. So we can all stay there safely and not, have to deal with some malfunction that happen because people make mistakes or design is not necessarily, take into account all the things. So as long as I can help reduce it, whatever I can, I'm there. And that's value for me.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me on the show. It was short notice here at the expo, so I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. It's been great so far.
Yeah. And everybody out there listening, watching, as always, stay connected.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Connected Construction Show. For more information, visit us at connectedconstructionshow.com.